Welcome back to Trans Guy Reacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. Today, I'm going to do a review of the WNBA Saturday, May 25th games. I'm going to do the four evening games because I made a separate video about the other day game. Apologize if you can hear the music in the background. I live in Mexico, so there is mariachi music going on. It's Saturday night. People are enjoying themselves. It's party time. So I'll try to talk as loud as I can, and I'm going to play this in the background, some of the games in the background. But yeah, it was a really fun day, fun amount of games. It was hard to watch all of them, and I pretty much wasn't able to watch all of them at the same time, but I tried my best. This video is probably going to be like an hour long, so put this on double speed. And I talk fast, so it is what it is. Before I get into this game, I am a 20-plus year WNBA fan. I've been watching women's basketball for years, so I am not a stan. I am a fan, and I come with facts and context and nuance, and sometimes bias. I mean, I'm wearing a Las Vegas Aces hat. Come on, but I like pretty much all the teams. So yeah, let's just get into this. I'll start this so we can play this in the background. So first was the Connecticut Sun versus the Chicago Sky. It was on CBS Sports Channel. It was a home debut for the Sky. They were rocking a sold-out crowd, which was fantastic. DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas apparently are married, according to the analysts, which I thought was pretty exciting. I could have sworn that they were engaged, but maybe they got married. Both of them are incredibly private about their lives, so I could imagine that they got married and didn't really announce it to anyone. But yeah, great for them. Congratulations. Diamond DeShield is back, which is nice to have her back. She's been injured off and on, and she's finally back in this game. But in the beginning of the game, DeWanna Bonner was in foul trouble to start, and the Sky kind of go on a bit of a run. Angel Reese was working on that mid-range shot. It looked nice. I was surprised because that was like my biggest issue. Oh, I forgot to put on let me put on some light. Let there be light. That was my biggest issue was her mid-range shot coming out of college, but she did fine. She looked really good this evening. The Connecticut Sun were responding to the Sky's runs. Bonner kept trying to make these three-point shots, and she was struggling, but she kept shooting them for some reason. And then it was kind of funny. The analysts were saying stuff like, oh, this is like a heavenly matchup. This is a celestial matchup. It's like, okay, we get it, because the sun and the sky. Like, okay, we get it. They were having a really fun time with the puns. They're like older guys, so it's like dad jokes. It was great to know that Gabrielle Union was at the game with her husband Dwayne Wade and her daughter, and Chance the Rapper was there with his kids. So it's really nice to see people come with, like, celebrities come with their children, just not them at the game. I want a younger generation to see how amazing the games are. But yeah, you can see the teams were equally yoked. The score was pretty close for the first two quarters. And Angel Reese was able to draw lots of fouls. She draws one on Alyssa Thomas, and then the play is under review by Connecticut, and because Connecticut wants to challenge it. And again, there's a guy in the ref right there, the 23, the bald white guy. I've seen him in other games, and he calls very inaccurate fouls. He's been known to do that, and this is only like the sixth game into the season. But interesting. The challenge is won. I wonder why. All right, then they jump. A jump ball is called by 23, which is ridiculous because they were all over the ground fighting for the ball, and then as soon as the ball gets out of their hands, then he calls a jump ball. Once Alyssa Thomas gets it free. So I don't think he's a great ref for this game. Maybe he'll get better over time, but of the three games that I've seen him in, I have not been impressed. At the half, it was 42-50. The Sky were up. I was like, all right, home team winning. Reese had 10 points. Marina Mabry had 10 points. Kennedy Carter had 9 points. For the Sun, Brianna Jones had 10 points. Denasia Carter had 10 points, and Alyssa Thomas had 9 points. So pretty evenly matched. Like I said, it was pretty even though the Sky were up at that point. I did miss most of the third quarter because I was watching the Fever versus the Vegas game. I mean, come on. Angel Reese, so I'm coming back and forth, right? So I didn't miss that. So I'm basically at the end of the third quarter. When I come back into that game, Angel Reese has two hard fouls from Thomas. She gets called for the second foul, and they are reviewing it. They're reviewing it on Thomas, and Thomas fouled her so hard she like went across her neck with her arm and pulled her down. And Reese came down so hard that she hit her head on the floor, on the baseboard. It was pretty graphic. They go to review it, and Thomas gets rejected. It's a flagrant two. I was shook. I was shook. I mean, kind of not surprising by how she knocked her down because it was pretty intense. But I just did not think she was gonna get a flagrant two. I thought she'd get a flagrant one, but like flagrant two, that's like they thought it was incredibly unnecessary. The refs did. Reese does stay in the game. She hits both those free throws. It's 59-60, third quarter, 3:41 left in the game. But then right after that, Reese sits for a little bit. Then Kennedy Carter ends up fouling out in the third quarter, which is huge because she is like their motor. She gets the offense running, the defense running too. She's a good stealer. Uh, it just wasn't working for them. And then DeWanna Bonner finally hits a three at the buzzer of the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, it's freaking crazy. It's 69-67, and at that point, I'm like, oh, so now DeWanna Bonner, who's a vet, who's an amazing player, she's about to go all out because her wife just got fouled. Just got not fouled out, sorry, got ejected from the game. You know that's gonna fire her up, and it did. It freaking did. DeWanna Bonner on the floor, she was like, there was 1.2 where her and Reese were going after a ball, and Reese poked her in the eye, and DeWanna Bonner fell to the ground so dramatically. Oh my god! I mean, I get it. It hurts to get poked in the eye, but it was a little much. It was a little much. They did review it. There was no foul. It was like inconclusive play. It's just like it was just a ball play. But then DeWanna Bonner she just started going off. At one point, it was 83-79 with 4 minutes left in the fourth, and I was like, God damn it. DeWanna Bonner does hit a shot on the buzzer, but it's a shot clock violation. I was like, thank goodness, slow her down. But then Olivia Nasa-Nadoda commits a foul on Michaela Onyenwere, and then they're reviewing that because the Sun want to challenge it, and they are actually successful with that call. Michaela does miss both free throws show, but Marina Mabry gets the ball back and makes a three right afterwards. Now we're 85-82 with 1 minute to go. This is getting crazy. Angel Reese is playing really killer defense on Bonner and forces a shot clock violation, which I was shook by that. I was like, oh my God, look at the D on Reese. That was crazy. But then Reese commits an offensive foul on a moving screen and the ball goes back to the Sun. At that point, I was like, that's some rookie shit right there. And that pretty much cost them the game. Once she committed that offensive foul, I was like, oh, it's over. It's pretty much over. Mabry ends up fouling Dejanay Harrington, who does miss one of two shots because they want to get the ball back. But Marina Mabry goes for a three, and she misses, and that was pretty much all she wrote. It was like a couple seconds left, and it was 86-84 is the final. The Sun, Connecticut Sun, remain undefeated this season. The breakdown on the box score for this game was the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese had 13 points, 13 points, 5 rebounds. Elizabeth Williams had 10 points, 5 rebounds. Marina Mabry had 23 points, 5 rebounds. Dana Evans had 13 points, and Kennedy Carter only had 11 points because she fouled out in the third quarter. Kaiser Gondresi didn't play at all. Isabel Harrison didn't play, and I'm not really sure. I think she's still injured, and then Camilo's out, obviously, because she's injured. For the Sun, DeWanna Bonner had 19 points, 8 rebounds. Brianna Jones had 16 points, 6 rebounds. Dejanay Harrington had 16 points, 6 rebounds. Alyssa Thomas had 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists before she got ejected. And then Queen Egbo didn't play. So in the post-game interview, Reese mentions she misses... There's like post-game interview, and I did watch it before I started recording. And one of the reporters asked her a question, and Reese says, like, she mentions, like, I missed these 3 shots, and that's kind of, affected my game there. And then the reporter follows up and is like, can you elaborate on why you missed the 3 shots? And Reese is like, what? Next question. Which I thought was so funny because it's like, yeah, what a dumbass question. Why did you miss the 3 shots? Like, what do you mean? You miss shots sometimes. That was the stupidest question ever. But then they asked Reese about Alyssa Thomas and that foul, and Angel Reese is so nice. She said she probably didn't mean to knock me down. It was like, what? Okay. It was probably a basketball player or something like that. And then she goes on to praise Marina Mabry. And then another reporter follows up and he was like, "Do you think that Alyssa Thomas was going after you because you're a rookie?" And Angel Reese shut that shit down. She was like, "They are not supposed to be nice to me because I'm a rookie or because I'm Angel Reese. Like they're supposed to go at me." And she was like, "I thank her for going at me and putting me down, and I got right back up." It's like it's not about that. She like basically told the reporter off. It's like y'all be making things more than it is, and it's true. It's like the media tries to hype up things that are not really there. And I'm not saying that. Uh, like Alyssa Thomas didn't do it on purpose. I'm just saying that they're hyping it up more than it is. Oh, my bad. Let me go back to this game. Um, uh, and Angel Reese said they're actually cool. They both went to Maryland and they've been cool. There's no animosity between them. And during when she was saying that, Teresa Witherspoon, the coach, was like smirking. She's like, because she loved the commentary. But it's true. I mean, like, Alyssa Thomas, did she mean to foul her that hard? Maybe, but that's how Alyssa Thomas plays. That's like not new. She's a very physical player. She's strong and she's tough, and she's like a fucking freight train when she comes at you. And it doesn't matter who's on the floor, she will go at any player that hard all the time. She's really good at actually drawing fouls on other people when she's going at their chest. She gets them fouled. So it's not like it was. I don't think it was personal, but I do think that she might have done it on purpose. But that not that it was personal. Like it wasn't just she's just getting frustrated in the game probably. But yeah, it's not new behavior, and if you have a problem with it, that means you've never watched the WNBA before. You've never seen Alyssa Thomas play because you would know that's how she plays. This is not new. Anywho, that was that game. It was riveting, and I really think that Chicago should have won that, but partially Kennedy Carter blew it for them by fouling out, and then Reese ruined it by getting that moving foul at the end. And I mean, that's rookie shit right there. I mean, rookies be doing rookie shit. All right, so the next game, the one that everyone was probably talking about. I mean, I was excited about it. It was Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces. But at the same time this game came on, the Washington Mystics versus the Seattle Storm game was on. And so I had to like watch that and the Sun and the Sky game. It was very complicated. I had multiple screens. I had too many things going. It was like glitching and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I hate this. I hate this so much, but I want to watch all the games as much as I can. Anyway, obviously I was going in favor of the Las Vegas Aces. It was, I like all the teams, but I definitely I love the Aces. I've literally flown to Vegas just to watch an Aces game, and I just like literally the same day flew back home. So, anyway, Michelob Ultra Arena was sold out, which was nice to see. In the beginning of the game, Clark fouls Jackie Young, and I have to say it was a dumb foul. It was like definitely rookie shit. And then Timmy Fakbenley starts off really strong for the Fever, and I was loving to see it. And then Jackie Young also gets another foul drawn on her from Kelsey Mitchell, and I'm just like, y'all cannot be fouling Jackie. Like you're gonna get into a lot of trouble. She's really good at drawing fouls. They do clean it up a little bit, and then Kelsey Mitchell is scoring really well, and I was like, oh my God, if Kelsey goes off, this is going to be a problem. I did think they were going to win. By the way, I was like, Aces are going to win this game, but I was like, doesn't mean that Fever couldn't win this game. Caitlin Clark was driving to the rim every time she would drive at the rim, when someone was there, she always gets it swatted away, always got it blocked. She can only drive to the rim when no one's there. She doesn't have the timing or the strength to really pull that off yet. It's gonna take her a little bit more time to get to the end of the season, maybe next year. But every time in every game, she tries to run to the rim when someone's already under the basket, and it's never going in. It's just not. It was actually a very close game in that first quarter. It was great team effort all around for the Fever. I was like, wow. I was expecting greatness from Vegas, but I was really shook. I was like, look at Indiana putting it together. All right. Love to see that Lexi Hull was in the game, finally putting her in the game. And then Kate Martin actually checks into the game, to huge applause, of course. The Fever are actually up, but Plum secures it, and secures the ball, but like it was kind of back and forth. And I have to say, Timmy Fakbenley was making the difference as she did all these past other games. She's pretty much like their better vet on the team. She's kind of better. She's better as a vet than Erica Wheeler, I would say. But the Fever were up 28-24, and I was like, ooh, I'm a little shooketh. This is in the second quarter, by the way. And no one was in the paint for offensive rebounds for Vegas. So I was like, Vegas, you're not doing. No one's like going after the ball for the rebounds. Like you have to be in the paint. Someone has to be there. And I was like, this is not looking good. At the it was 32-26 with 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter. I was shocked. I was like, I think Fever have got it. I think they figured this out. I think they might win this game. They have a chance with this kind of scoring that they were doing. But then Jackie Young picked Clark's pocket twice, like almost like back-to-back plays. She picked her pocket. And I was like, oh, maybe not. And then it was 34-36, 5 minutes left in the second. Jackie Young gets 2 tap fouls, and I was like, Jackie, what are you doing? What are you getting these little silly tap fouls for? But Aces are playing much better and extend the lead, and then they end up shutting down the Fever in the second quarter, pretty much. At the half, it was 38-46. Aaliyah Boston had 10 points, and she was the only person in double figures. And at that point, Caitlin Clark had 4 turnovers at the half. Not looking good. Asia Wilson had 12.6 rebounds. Kelsey Plum had 14 points, and Jackie Young had 17 points. So at the half, the Aces were killing them. I did end up missing most of the third quarter because I wanted to see the end of the Sun versus the Sky game, so that took me out a lot of the third for this game. When I came back, they were reviewing a foul on Asia for tripping Nalissa Smith, and it looked like it was incidental contact, but the refs were looking at it for a long time, and then they ended up calling it a transition take foul. I don't think so. I don't think so. Or clear path foul or something like that. I think that was BS. But whatever. And it's still like 49-58 with 6 minutes left in the third. The crowd at that point was screaming, "Refs, you suck!" It was pretty funny. And then Melissa Smith misses both of those free throws. And the crowd went wild again because if you miss twice, you win a slice, or miss twice, get a slice. So they get a free slice of pizza in the casino if the opposing player misses 2 free throws in a row. So great for the crowd. Then Kate Martin, like, she was in the game and she hits a 3. I was like, oh, look at Kate Money Martin. And then Kelsey Mitchell was pretty much keeping the Fever in this game, I have to say. Every time they left her open, she was hitting those 3s. And I was like, you guys gotta guard Kelsey. You cannot give her any space. No space whatsoever, but she was hitting them. Clark had back-to-back shots, but then Martin had this really great block. She was making some really good decisions, I have to say. At the end of the third, it was 56-72, and the Aces were giving it to them. And I was like, oh, I really thought that the Fever might have had this game, but then at the end of the third, I was like, they ain't got this game. They ain't got this game at all. And then Kate Martin hit another 3, and then Lexi Hull hits a 3, and I was like, that's why Lexi Hull should be in the game for the Fever. She's actually effective. She actually plays really good ball, but they don't be playing her for whatever reason. Whatever. I was actually surprised. There was one point that, and then there's, Martin hits this layup, and then she gets fouled. She gets the free throw. She is so clutch. She was such a clutch draft pick. We really lucked out on drafting her. And then I was surprised when Erica Wheeler hit a deep 3. I was like, Erica, you got that in your bag? That was shocking. I was like, oh my God, I did not know that. Sydney gets the deflection on Clark, which I thought was great. It was a turnover. And for some reason, Caitlin Clark insists on challenging it, and Sides agrees and does challenge it, and it's unsuccessful. I'm like, don't listen to the rookies. They don't know what they're doing. The offense for the Aces is just like too good for the Fever. It's just, no. It was 64-85, 6 minutes left in the fourth. Then Grace Berger is in the game, finally. Then there's a bad turnover by Caitlin Clark, straight into Alicia Clark's hands. All right, it was Clark to Clark. It's so crazy. Timmy Vad Benley and Kelsey Mitchell are doing what they can, but it's just not enough. It really isn't. They are not able to make enough shots to make up for the lack of shots from everybody else. And then Deasia Fair was in the game. The crowd was so excited. They were super loud, roaring for her. It's great for her to get in there because they have such a big lead. Finally get some minutes, get some playing time. And then freaking Sydney Colson hits a 3. I was like, oh my God, Sydney, what you do? Oh my, go Sydney. Sid. She's more of a defensive person. She don't really be shooting that much, so it was great to see her hitting three. It was 71-91 with 3 minutes left in the game, and then Emma Cannon came in the game for the Aces, which was great because she was traded from the Fever, and it was like, that's right, I'm back in here, and I'm on a better team. And then the Fever did put in Celeste Taylor. They did put in Victoria Saxton. So they pretty much both teams played their benches. So that was great. Everyone got some time. But the Aces bench in the game, they were making a few mistakes, but it's good that they were making those mistakes because this is a time to make them when it's inconsequential and they can learn from them. So I was really happy to see them on the floor. And then Emma Cannon gets her first points on the floor as an Aces. I was like, go Emma. And then Lexi Hull was hitting shots, and like I said, she should have been in the game from the get-go. She was actually making an impact on the scoring and the offense, but they don't really want to play her. And then Sydney Colson hits another freaking three. I was like, what's going on, Sydney? Who are you? And then Kate Money Martin shooting another three, gets fouled and has 3 free throws and hits all 3 free throws. And then Grace Berger hits a three. I'm like, where was the bench earlier? Where were they? Play the fucking bench, yo. Not so much for the Aces, but really for the Fever. It's like, play your bench. The final score was 80-99. The Fever got their asses beat straight up. They did a post-game interview with Kate Martin after the game, and it was really long. It was like a 3-minute interview. They were really talking to her. They were giving the Rook a lot of airtime. I guess that's great, even though Asia was the player of the game. But, whatever. We got to put on the new faces because that's the new fans want that. And then it was kind of funny. The camera people were putting the camera on Iowa fans in the crowd who were sad that they lost that because they really. I mean, I'm sure they were rooting for Kate, but they really wanted the Fever to win because of Caitlin Clark. But I was like, she was very not good tonight. So the breakdown on the scoring was Timmy Fagbenley had 13 points, 8 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston had 12.6 rebounds. Aaliyah played really great tonight. Went a little cold in the second half, but she did play well in the beginning. Kelsey Mitchell had 16 points. Lexi Hull had 12 points. Play her more. Melissa Smith only had 8 points, but she did have 6 rebounds. But Clark had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. She did have like an even scoring game, but she had 6 turnovers. And to me, I'm just like, her game is like, she goes off sometimes, but it's very much like giving average rookie, maybe like above average rookie. That's what she's giving. And she's not consistent. And whenever she's against a team that's much better than her, she just like doesn't play very well. I don't know. I'm just not really impressed with her. There's a lot of hype on her, and all you new fans really like her, but I'm like, she's just kind of average. I mean, compared to everybody else in the league, she's kind of average. But I do love that everyone got in the game for the Fever. That was really nice to see. For the Aces, Asia Wilson had 29 points and 15 rebounds for a double-double. Crazy. Kelsey Plum had 20.7 rebounds. Jackie Young had 22.6 rebounds. Kate Martin had 12.7 rebounds. And she came off the bench, mind you. Alicia Clark had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Yeah. And then Sydney Colson had 6 points. Look at Sydney. Oh my God. And everyone got in the game this. So I did also really love the post-game interview with Asia Wilson and Kate Martin and Becky Hammond. Asia is the greatest player all around in the league right now. She is the greatest player in the league. No doubt. And Becky Hammond is the best coach, clearly. And Kate is so lucky to be on this team, and she knows that she vocalizes that, and she's very aware that she is very lucky that she's not just them two, but also the rest of the team, that she is in a very good position. And yeah, she lucked out. She was probably the best pickup. Her and Deja really lucked out getting picked up by the Aces. But anywho, that was that game. Very exciting. Let's keep it going because there's 2 more freaking games already. All right, so the other game was the Washington Mystics versus the Seattle Storm. The arena looked about 3/4 full. I know it's not like the most a big draw, the Mystics, because they're not playing that well. Honestly, I think they're like 0-5 this year. Before this game, I did miss the first quarter because the other games were playing. But when I came in, Seattle was up big, 15-25 in the first quarter. Seattle was on fire in this game. I was only dipping like in and out every time, and every time I would come in, like they were like Seattle was hitting shots. I was like, oh okay, well, it's the Seattle show. Oh, let me play that. I forgot. Let me go ahead and play that. It was like the Seattle show. I was like, all right, well, I guess Seattle's just gonna dominate this game. um, Maisha Hines Allen. There was one point I came in and Maisha Hines Allen like pushes NECA on the ground like for a really hard foul, and they end up reviewing it. And at this point, it's like 38-47. Seattle are up. It's 1.5 minute left in the second quarter, but then they review the call and it ends up being a common foul determined. But she pushed NECA down really hard. It was really intense. Maisha is like very strong. She is thick. She's a thick girl. She's a thick woman. She is strong. In the second quarter, it was really even shooting from the team, and the score was only 41-50 at the half. So, the Mystics were coming back. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But for the Mystics, the only person in double figures at that point was Julie Van Loo. And then for the Storm, it was Nneka Nwumike with 13 points and Skylar Diggins-Smith with 10 points. So a little bit like more contribution from the Storm, and that's why they were up a little bit. Then I ended up missing most of the third quarter because of the ending of the Sun and the Sky game. I was very invested, so I couldn't watch it. But I did come in 4 minutes left into the third, and it was 50-65. So still the Storm were up. There's one point again with Nneka and Maisha Hines Allen, Nneka Nwumike and Maisha Hines Allen. Nneka gets called for a blocking foul, and then Noelle Quinn, the coach for Storm, she challenges it, and she wins. So it's not an offensive foul called at all. Another ref. There's another review, also a foul against Jewel Lloyd. The Mystics challenge it, and they win it. I guess it was going against the Mystics player, and they were able to reverse it. But Seattle, no matter all these calls and these bad reffing calls and challenges and things, the Seattle is still in the game. Yeah, they were still in control of the game. It was the Seattle Storm show. With 6 minutes left in the fourth, it was 63-85, and I was like, ooh, child, Mystics is getting blown out. From what I could see, Sammy Whitcomb was playing incredible defense, and she was also a really great role player, getting all the players involved. And the analyst said that the team was shooting like 61% from the field. Damn. Then there was a point where it got a little chippy. Mercedes Russell gets tied up with Aaliyah Edwards because Aaliyah had like locked her arm into Mercedes, and then Julie Van Loo comes over to say something because she, of course she wants to like defend her teammate, but Mercedes does not get into rough and tumble stuff. She's the least controversial player ever in the league, and there was like nothing there. She was really just trying to get her arm loose, and I was like, Julie, chill. It's fine, okay? The rookie was hooking her arm, and a vet ain't gonna take that shit, and she found out. With 3.5 minutes left in the fourth, it was 67-93. And then it was great. Nneka Mule got in the game. She played some good defense. She didn't score, but she played really good defense. And then the ending of the game, it was 69-101. Woo! The Storm kicks Mystics ass. But it was really nice to see after the game, Sammy Whitcomb and Jade Melbourne embraced because they're both Aussies, so we got that connection. Aussie, oi, oi, oi. And then Nneka Mule and Aaliyah Edwards embraced because they both went to UConn and they just graduated, so it was really nice. And then they interviewed Nneka Nwumike, and she was really grateful about being in Seattle. She really loved the energy and how they've been so receptive to her, and she feels like she made the right choice with their chemistry. So Seattle goes 3-3 on the season, and Mystics go 0-6. They are the worst team in the league. And it's them. I think they're the worst, and then it's Fever. The breakdown of the scoring for that, the Mystics had Carly Samuelson had 16 points. Julie Van Loo had 12 points. Jade Melbourne had 13 points. Stephanie Talbot had 8 points. Oh, sorry, Stephanie Dolson had 8 points. And Shakira Austin was out for personal reasons, and Brittany Sykes is still injured. For the Storm, Nneka Nwumike had 19 points. Ezzy Magmavor had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Jewel Lloyd had 18 points, 6 rebounds. Skylar Diggins-Smith had 16 points, 9 rebounds. Sammy Whitcomb had 12 points, 5 assists, and Jordan Horston had 8 points. And everyone played for Seattle. It was a fantastic game. It was incredibly dominant. I mean, I think I should just like fast forward in this because I don't even have anything else to say about it. It was dominant. I mean, they won by 101 points. I think this was the best score they've had in like 4 years or something like that. It was crazy. All right, let's go to the last game, which was the Dallas Wings versus Phoenix Mercury. And this game starts while there's still the sun in the sky game on. It had like a couple more minutes, so again, I didn't really watch the beginning of it. It was just too hard to watch 4 games at one time. It was too hard, so I missed all of the first quarter because of the ending of the sun in the sky game, and I came in late to the second quarter. So when I came in, I was like, damn, the Wings are killing the Mercury. It was 37-21 with 5.5 minutes left in the second. Deanna Taurasi, though, was 3 of 5 from the three, keeping Mercury kind of in the game pretty much with her scoring. But there was just no way I could keep up with this game and the other 2 games going on. The Wings versus the Storm. Not the Wings versus the Storm. The Mystics versus the Storm and the Fever versus the Aces. And I was prioritizing those games, and I wanted to watch them to the end. And so I was just like, I'll just come back to this at the end of that. So I come back at the end of those games, and it's like 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and the score is 71-53. And I was like, oh man, the Wings are killing them at home. It's a really big gap. Oh, so hard. There's actually a point where I put this in the wrong section. I was trying to keep track of everything in my notes. I forgot to mention in the Storm game, Mercedes Russell actually twists her ankle pretty bad and has to walk off and get treated. So hopefully she's okay. Cross her fingers for that. Anywho, digressing back to what I was just talking about this game, Kalia Copper hits 3,000 points in her career, and it's just, I was like, Kalia fucking Copper. You can say freaking, of course, but KFC was just so good in this game, really doing the most. At this point, it's 1 minute left in the third, 72-66, and then at the end of the game, end of the third, it was 76-69. So still pretty dominant, but they were like, Mercury were inching their way back. I was like, okay, maybe they can like make this competitive. Maybe they can go into the fourth and really do some damage. And I would say that Kalia Copper and Diana Taurasi were trying their best. They were playing so well the entire game, but it just wasn't enough. It was 94-80 with 3.5 minutes left in the fourth. And I was like, ooh. They didn't come into the fourth playing as best as they could. I mean, it wasn't a team effort, unfortunately. It was just a couple people playing really well. The final score was 107-92. That's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. That's not great to score at all. The box score for this was Kalia Copper had 32 points. Another 30-point game. She's amazing. Diana Taurasi had 28 points and 5 rebounds. Diana Taurasi is 42 years old. Think about that. Or maybe 41, but still, think about that. She is over 40, and she put up a 28-point game. Yeah. Natasha Cloud had 9 points and 12 assists. So she almost had a double-double. And Sophie Cunningham had 11 points. And of course, Brittany Griner is still injured, but it just wasn't enough compared to the Wings. Maddie Segrist had 22 points, 9 rebounds. Monique Billings had 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Tierra McCowan had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Enrique Agumbawale had 40 points and 7 rebounds. 40 points. Again, crazy. And unfortunately for the Wings, they actually had quite a few people out. They had Jaylen Brown, Natasha Howard, and Satu Sabali. They're all injured and they're out. I don't know why Lopez Senechal didn't play, but they had 4 players not in the game, and they won. They won the game in a very dominant fashion because they had so many people scoring so high and so well. So yeah, that was also a nice game to watch, but kind of sad for the Fever fans to see them get blown out like that. That's unfortunate, but yeah, it was fun. It was a long day. It's late here. I can't believe I watched all those games, but I did, and it is what it is. If you watch all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Go ahead and like, share, and comment. Like, share, and subscribe. I do not have the comment sections open because it's mostly a bunch of trolls, like 10-year-old boys, and sometimes grown-ass men who act like 10-year-old boys, always trying to start stuff when they don't know anything about the W or basketball in general. So I don't really open it up for that. Maybe one day when I'm bigger, it's a bigger channel, but I'm just doing this as a labor of love. And if you like it, please go ahead and follow, subscribe, and all that things. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I don't know. I keep saying I'm not going to do these longer recaps, but I keep doing them. So we'll see how it goes in the future and how I'm going to restructure this. But I just love this game so much. I love it so much. Yeah. Anywho, thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.